And now, the Lafayette Food Junkie Show, served up medium rare every Sunday night.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku. Here we talk about all the food happenings around Acadiana. If you like food, tune in. You might learn something new. Welcome back. We were off air last week. I had a recorded episode for you guys. I had went out to the farmer's market at the horse farm and did some interviews there. And thanks to technology, it didn't make it onto the air. So not to fret, we will play that recorded episode probably during the holiday season when I get to go visit my family, or we may break it down into different episodes. Don't know yet. Joining tonight as guest co-host is Terry Dugas. Funny enough, on Facebook today, I got an announcement saying that we've been friends for a year on Facebook.
Oh my God. This is such a momentous moment.
We didn't plan it that way either.
No, weirdly enough.
I love when it has like a lot of... I've noticed like with my friends that it's been like 8 years or whatever. It has like all these like memory ones.
Yeah.
But when it's like a year, it's just like one photo.
Yeah.
It's like, hey.
It's just like, hey.
Hey, it's been a year. So Terry works with the Greater Iberia Chamber of Commerce, and they have the World Championship Gumbo Cook-Off that is coming up next weekend, and we're going to talk about that a little later in the show. But you actually got me on board with the pork finger cook-off that I did a few weeks ago, and I enjoyed myself thoroughly. Thank you very much for that.
I
would like to judge that every year.
I don't know if they're going to do it every year. This was the first year.
Yeah, they said this was the first year that they did it.
But hopefully they do, and if they do, I mean, I'm sure the ladies out there will love to have you.
Yeah, it was delicious, and I got to take some home, and I loved what they did. It was so much fun.
Oh yeah, shout out to the ladies of Isle of Iberia. They're doing some really like great
yeah, and it's really nice out there too.
Yeah, they completely redid it. They got their staff is so passionate about it. It's really great.
So I was not on the air last weekend because I had went to Birmingham, Alabama. Funny enough, I typically take a trip there about once a year for a food conference. Didn't go this year, but ended up in Birmingham anyway. And always lots of food things happening around town every time I go. Have you been to Birmingham before, Terry?
I've passed through. Stopped, yeah.
You need to stop because they have first off, I think you can throw a rock and hit a brewery. There's so many. We were talking about that. I was talking about that today with Carlos, not at Bayou Teche. They have breweries everywhere. And I stayed in the Avondale neighborhood. So in that area, there's the Avondale Brewery. Mm-hmm. There's the Avondale Distillery.
Oh, wow.
And then there's the Sour Room, which is just for their sour beers. And that's the only kind of beer that I drink. So I was super excited about that. Sour beers are about to have a moment. When I spoke to Carlos today, though, he said, not quite happening in Louisiana yet.
Yeah.
We're kind of slow.
Like, you're the first person that I've really heard talking about them with any type
they're
of
still
passion.
Very underground here, but they're kind of having a moment. Like, they're getting very popular in other cities. And I was so excited to get to go and experience a whole tap room of all the beers that I like. So I did a flight, and the one that I liked the most was I'm going to mispronounce it. I have to really think about it. It's a Gosa, which is a salty beer. So I like sour, but I also like salty beers. Mm-hmm. And it was lime. So it was a Gosa lime. And it tasted almost like, it reminded me of margarita with the salt and the lime. So I actually got a bottle of that, and I have it home. I took it home with me. Mm-hmm. And then there was one that was their most popular, and it's just called Blend Number 3. So it's sour, salties, and funkies. Mm-hmm. This one was kind of like a funky sour. When you first drank it, it was real sour, and you got like that pucker. But over time, it got more and more funky. Mm-hmm. And I told somebody it almost took on the taste of fish or the smell of fish. And that sounds really disgusting. Yeah. But it tasted good. And they brewed it with blackberries. And it was one of their most popular brews that they were doing.
Like fermented?
Yeah, it was fermented. Yeah, they're fermented. Yeah. So it was just like that fermented, like funky, real funky, fishy smell almost, which was weird for me because I do not like seafood
I mean, did that
smells.
like not like hit you in the nose?
It did, like it did, and it was only at the end, and it was so weird because when the first 2 sips of it, I was like, oh my God, I really like this one, and then it was kind of sitting there, and I was kind of not liking it, and then I started liking it again, so it was real weird, like it was really weird. And the other one that was my second favorite, I cannot remember the name. It was Farm something, but it was brewed with apricots.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it was delicious. And if you like sour beers, I would go and check it out. So I also learned that the sour mashes have to be brewed separately from the regular brewed beers. So that's why these different breweries are having specialized sour rooms like Avondale has, so they can have it in one little spot. I'm hoping to get a beer expert on some upcoming shows, and we can kind of talk more about it because my knowledge of beer in general is very low. I'm learning more about sours because that's the ones that I like. But it's kind of fascinating. I also learned that sour beers are actually the original beers. Like that was what we first had, was kind of sour beers. I kind of geeked out with Carlos at Bite Touch today talking about it. And I felt really cool for the first time talking about beers because it's that area. I'm used to talking about whiskey, not about beer. So really cool over there. And then also, I went to the coolest bar that I've ever been to. It was a speakeasy called the Marble Ring. So you walk up these steps and you enter this little hot dog stand called Hot Diggity Dog, and it's really tiny. And in the back of the hot dog stand is a blue phone booth, like Doctor Who, pretty much. So you open the phone booth and you close it, and there's a phone, and then there's instructions that say to pick up the phone and hold for an operator. So you pick up the phone, and then somebody picks up, and they ask how many is in your party. Well, the speakeasy only holds 80 people. So if it's a particularly busy time, there may be a little bit of a wait. So they'll tell you, how long your wait's going to be. And it was just me, and they had just opened. So the wall moved away. And then you walk through the wall, and it's a 1920s speakeasy. Like all the servers are in flapper dresses. Like it's really cool. Amazing cocktails. I had one called Banicula's Revenge, and it was carrot juice and tequila and mezcal. Wow. And then I had one called A Very Good Pear, and it was a pear shrub with like ginger beer, just like expertly crafted cocktails. The decor, there's like naked ladies everywhere. So, it was nice. This was what was great too. So it plays like 1920s style music, but it's songs of today. So they had a Macklemore song that I was like, this sounds so familiar to me. And it was the thrift store song from Macklemore, but like as in 1920s, like jazz style. Yeah. So that was really cool. And then if you want to order from Hot Diggity Dogs, they'll, you can place your orders in there and you can eat it in there. So I ordered, chili cheese tater tots, because we've been talking about how obsessed I've been with like fries with things on top. Yeah. So I did not like the chili, and this is why. I'm kind of a fan of like Hormel fake chili, and this was just like it was pretty much just ground beef on. Now the cheese sauce, there was a cheese sauce that was on the tater tots, so it like coated the tater tots. And I had it on a previous show, like we talked about this, where I feel like if it's just cheese fries, it should be like a sauce, like a cheese sauce, so it kind of coats over it. But if it's chili cheese fries, you could put shredded cheese on it because it'll kind of meld into the cheese. Well, this was just ground beef, so you needed that cheddar cheese sauce, and it was okay. I kind of wished it was a different chili or just gotten cheese tater tots. That would have been great too, but not a fan of it reminded me of Cincinnati style chili. Like it's just ground beef. Like it's not like there's not any seasoning. It wasn't even really seasoned. Like it was just, I was like, this isn't chili. This is like ground beef that you threw up on here. But the cheese sauce and the tater tots were excellent. Coolest bar ever. I really feel like Lafayette needs a bar like this for an older clientele. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we were talking about that off. Air,
I feel like we don't have a lot of bars here for anyone that's under 25. Yeah. Well, we have bars 25 and under. And I feel like we have bars maybe 45 and older.
Yeah.
But we don't really have something for in the middle.
In the middle, yeah.
And we kind of need that. And there's a few areas of town like that have a few bars, but they're in one area of town. And maybe like if we kind of like spread it out, but we really don't have that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be nice to see. I mean, we had some examples that we talked about off air, but it would be nice to see something that was like right in that sweet spot of people who want to go out and want to have a good time, but don't necessarily want to be in an environment that kind of speaks to kind of, the heavy drinking or the loud music or anything else like that. Like just like a chill area that you can get a cocktail in. Which is not to say that there aren't places like that. And a lot of bars that we are talking about earlier in the night, you can kind of go and do that. But there isn't anywhere that does that primarily all night long.
Right.
That isn't maybe like a restaurant bar or something like that. So that'd be nice to see.
But a speakeasy type concept would be cool to see.
I mean, something like really like chill. I mean, like I was telling you about the elephant room and about how like we really enjoyed that. And that really had like a speakeasy vibe to it. So, I mean, if anybody, we're sending out a free idea right now. Someone wants to...
We're full of ideas here on the Lafayette Food Junkie Show. And on that note, we're going to take our first break. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
The best tasting radio show in all of South Louisiana. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku, and joining tonight as guest co-host is Terry Dugas. He is with the Greater Iberia Chamber of Commerce. We've been talking about my trip to Birmingham. We were talking about the speakeasy known as the Marble Ring. We talked about the Sour Room at Avondale. And now we're going to talk about post office pies. So last time I went to Birmingham, they had just opened. The owner, John Hall, worked at Gramercy Tavern and some other very fancy restaurants in New York. He actually worked under the guy that started the Shake Shack empire. And he started a pizza business out of his apartment with his wife in Brooklyn, and they would like deliver pizzas door to door.
Wow.
So he's from Birmingham, moved back to Birmingham, and it was wood-fired pizza. And I had pizza previously at one point during the trip, and I had messaged Manny Ogillo, who's the owner of Bread and Circus Provisions, and I said, your pizza was so much better than this pizza. And he was like, oh, thank you so much. Like, that means a lot to me. And then I had this pizza, and I said, your pizza's not better than this pizza. I'm so sorry. But that was before they got Big Ben. That was before, they had the wood-burning oven. So I went back, and I was really excited because I was going to be able to really compare the two to kind of say which one was better. Well, it's still happening. It was a huge line. I was very upset because Waiter is in Birmingham and they're on Waiter, and I could have ordered it and had it brought to me at my Airbnb. So when I got up to order my pizza, it was a 45-minute wait. And I was like, it's fine. I was like, I really wish I would have known you had Waiter. And he was like, oh, well, it's still good. And then, but in certain hours, you can only order one size pizza. Like the big pizza is all you can get.
Wow.
So I got the meat pizza this time and got it. And like I said, they have 2 wood-burning ovens. It's happening like the whole time. And I got it back to my Airbnb, and it's still good pizza, but I was able to compare the 2. So this was my breakdown between Post Office Pies, which previously stated was the best pizza that I've ever had, versus Bread and Circus Pizza, which is argued to be the best pizza in Lafayette. So they're both wood-burning ovens. I gave the dough to Manny because I felt like, so the differences between the dough is I feel like Manny's has more airflow in it. So it's a little puffier and it's a little dougher and it's not as big and it's a little thicker crust. And Post Office Pies, it's thinner. There's a guy throwing it up in the air, which there's been studies that have been done that actually is not good for the pizza. Like it actually does something to the flavor. And dough-wise, like taste-wise, Manny's dough tastes a little bit better. So dough-wise, I gave to Bread and Circus Provisions. Marinara, I also gave to Bread and Circus Provisions because I just feel like he has a better flavor, more flavorful marinara sauce. Cheese, which are both made in-house, I gave to Post Office Pies because I feel like their pizza melts, their cheese melts better on their pizza and it's not as tough. A lot of times, like if you use fresh mozzarella, which is what they use at Bread and Circus, like it gets like this kind of like tough component to it. And I felt like Post Office Pie's pizza did not get that. So it was like a little creamier, a little meltier. So I gave it to them. Now, toppings. I gave this to Post Office Pies for this reason and this reason alone. Pepperoni is offered as an option at Post Office Pies. Mm-hmm. They do not do pepperoni at Bread and Circus.
That's what
I respect your feelings on that, but I love a pepperoni pizza.
So do I.
And we're in America, and in America, they love pepperoni pizza.
And in Italy, too. Like, I graduated from high school in Italy, and pepperoni pizza exists. It's a thing that can happen. Now, a lot of times, you know, it's not everywhere. It's not as prevalent as here, but like it is a thing that can happen. I like pepperoni. So
now, bacon, I give, because there was bacon on that pizza and I like mayonnaise bacon better. So I get, you know, it was like a tie. Like basically it came down to a tie, and I was happy that I don't have to go and have good pizza there anymore. Yeah, so next time we go to Birmingham, I probably won't go to Post Office Pies because I can get good pizza at Bread and Circus. Yeah. So it was nice. And I told Manny that. I was like, you know, y'all are on equal playing grounds now. So it's the wood burning. It's the wood burning.
I haven't been to Bread and Circus yet. Like I keep hearing about it. We tried to go. I've tried to go a couple of times, and the line situation has just been.
Have you done late night?
Yeah, it's just both times it was just insane to try to get in there, which is a testament to how good everything must be. I get anxious in lines, I get anxious in crowds, so like it doesn't necessarily serve me to try to be in that. I want to go so bad. I think I'm gonna have to try to go like.
Well, on Wednesdays all night they do happy hours, so you can get whole pizzas for half price. Oh wow. So, and then other than that, I think 4 to 6, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, they have that special. So you may want to go check it out.
I'm going to try to get in there.
But I also like that you can get pizzas by the slice there, and you can't get that at Post Office Pies. You have to buy a giant pie for one person and eat on it the entire weekend, which I'm kind of not complaining about.
I was just going to say, is that really a bad thing?
Yeah. I mean, if you're wanting to like try other things, because they had a Hattie B's in Birmingham. It's the only other location besides Nashville. And I was going to go try the hot chicken, and I couldn't. But I did, however, have my new Death Row fried chicken from there. Saw's Soul Kitchen. It's a little barbecue joint. It is so tiny, and the line again was huge. And I got it was the fried chicken sandwich. The fried chicken was brined in sweet tea.
Yep.
And
sounds good.
They topped it with Alabama white barbecue sauce, pimento cheese, and then I had some killer onion rings with it. Yep. And this is like my new Death Row.
Sounds amazing.
A follower was like, I need a full report of how delicious this was. And I said, I feel like I can die happy now that I've had this fried chicken before.
Yeah, I want to go there and try that. That sounds amazing.
Delicious. It was delicious. And I am now obsessed with white barbecue sauce. Like I've never had it before, and all it is mayo based.
Oh, okay.
We need to have some places around here. No Good Sons. If y'all are anyone with them is listening for your chicken, please get a white Alabama style barbecue sauce. It is delicious. You can buy bottles of it, but they were so busy. I did not want to get back in line and go and do it. But oh my God, it was so delicious. It was so delicious. And speaking of good barbecue, No Good Sons Barbecue opened yesterday. They sold out around 7:00.
Hey, that's a good problem.
Best brisket. I got the burnt ends. It was delicious. Yeah, the sides were also delicious. So people need to go out to Broussard, Youngsville area, and support them. They're going to be open.
Yeah, they're on, what is that, Albertson Parkway, right? Yeah, I pass them every morning.
Which is confusing because I think it's Ambassador, and then I get almost to the end of Ambassador and realize you have to go on Morgan Avenue to get there. Yeah. But they're open every day but Mondays. And they have like appetizers too. Like, so I got the baked beans this time. And huge hunks of bacon. And it's like this candied sweet bacon that's in the baked beans. It's delicious. They had like these cheesy mashed potatoes that came with it. Best brisket. Like, anyone who has ever complained and been upset and been like, oh my God, I wish we had good barbecue in town. We now have good barbecue, and you can go and check it out at No Good Sons Barbecue. Yeah. It is
I mean, they
delicious.
Followed me on Instagram a while back randomly. I had no idea. And then I just like looked and I was like, oh, these like are like some local guys. And like since then, probably like for months now, I've been following them and seeing, but like they never had a place to like get their food except for like
he would sell it out of his house on the weekend.
Yeah, but it was one of those things of like, you know,
and he would deliver,
getting to him and getting the food. So now that they're open, definitely I will be there. Especially, I think my brother's coming into town soon. And
it's delicious. It is so good.
Yeah,
like
we're gonna go and check that out for sure.
That brisket made me want to smack my mama, and I'm sorry, Babette. But if you felt like you got hit, it was because I was feeling the brisket. Oh, yeah. We got a caller, and I just want to remind you guys that I can't take calls while I'm doing the boards. So if you want to email me at Lafayette Food Junkie, it's JUNKIE @gmail.com. We can try to get to it and answer any questions or comments on the air from there. Again, that's Lafayette Food Junkie, JUNKIE @gmail.com. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, we have more with Terry. So come back to us. It is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
From Boudin to the best burgers Acadiana has to offer, it's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku, and joining tonight as guest co-host is Terry Dugas with the Greater Iberia Chamber of Commerce. We're going to be talking about the World Championship Gumbo Cook-Off in the next segment. But we were just on the topic of pizza. We're going to talk about pizza again because I tried the cauliflower crust pizza at La Pizzeria, and it was very good. Cool. Did not taste like cauliflower like I was expecting. It is not a pick up and eat slice. You do have to use a fork and knife for it to eat it. So you're not going to get that picking up and eating a slice of pizza feeling. But the whole crust has, I think they said 190 calories and 4 net carbs.
Yeah.
So it's really low carb for people that are following that diet. And it was really good. I was expecting it to be very expensive. It's only $3 more to swap your pizza to that. So I kind of rationalized to myself that it was like $15 for my pizza.
That's not terrible.
Yeah. So, and it's, I guess in theory you could eat an entire pizza, but because it was so much cauliflower, you may not want to eat an entire pizza. I couldn't eat an entire pizza because it is very filling. Yeah. So you can get 2 servings out of that. So that kind of like made it more like I could have this once a week in my head and just kind of swap it out. So it was pretty good. It tasted better than the one that I made at home. Now the one I made at home was sturdier, but it was also bigger. So I was able to fold it over. So it kind of like stood to, held together. Yeah. But they said that was one of the complaints that they were getting about it is like people were getting upset that they couldn't just like pick it up and eat it. Yeah. But it's pretty good for cauliflower crust Fair pizza. Trade-off. Like get the stamp of approval. Yeah. And I was telling them, because I'm so obsessed with their spinach and artichoke dip, that they should take that cauliflower crust pizza, put the spinach and artichoke dip on it, put mozzarella cheese on top, and then sprinkle bacon bits on it. And if they want to call it the Lafayette Food Junkie Special, I will not complain one bit. That does sound amazing. Though. So I gave them that idea, throwing it out there again. If somebody asks for it, I really want them to name it the Lafayette Food Junkie Special if this happens.
I mean, I can never finish my pizzas at La Pizzeria anyway because that hummus just pulls me
And I got that too. So we went Wednesday. One of my friends is moving to Austin, and we used to do dollar wine there. And on Wednesday nights, they have dollar glasses of wine. And so we got the hummus to go with it too. It was delicious. But so we had the hummus, so I ate that. I think I was only able to eat like 2 slices that night, and I brought the rest to have with me for lunch the next day, and I could barely finish the rest of it. Like I was like, there is no way somebody could eat this entire pizza. I mean, in theory, yes, you could, but I'm a pretty big girl, and I couldn't finish like the entire pizza.
Well, I mean, that's awesome to think about too. Like it's healthy, but it's also filling, and it also goes a long way. So the $15 is worth it at that point.
Right.
You can get 2 or 3 meals out of it.
Exactly. So if you're doing the low carb thing or just want to try something different, go and check out that cauliflower crust pizza at La Pizzeria. Also, I found out you can just get the crust and take it home to make your own pizza at home.
Post about that. Yeah.
I think it's like $8.99 to do that. But if you want to sub the crust there, it's like $3 more. So it's like $2.99.
Yeah.
Let's just round up to $3. Yeah, we'll do that. So on my way to Birmingham, I stopped in Covington, and I really want to explore that area more because they have a lot of cool restaurants that are there. I found out I stopped because they have a Cafe du Monde, and I'm a fan of beignets. Not a fan of that coffee too much. I really don't like chicory coffee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like Rev coffee is chicory coffee, but you can't really tell that it's chicory coffee. This is like straight up chicory. But if I'm at Cafe du Monde, I always get cafe au lait, to go with it.
I always get a frozen au lait.
So I went ate there, and I feel like no matter what Cafe du Monde it is not taste the same as the original location in the French Quarter.
Yeah, let's get into that. Like what's
so
kind of
I feel like my theory that they do not taste the same as that location is that they have probably never cleaned the fryers. And it's just all that love, blood, sweat, and tears
literal
over the years that add. I feel like they're crispier. Like they're a little crispier on the edges. And that location, they're good. Like the other locations, they're good.
Yeah.
They're a nice little substitute, but it's not the same as that original location. You thought the same thing?
I mean,
too?
I can argue that. I mean, the first time I had beignets was at like the original location and all
right.
that. But like I was telling you off air, my friends and I have a friend of mine, she and I used to drive to New Orleans specifically to go to Cafe du Monde, and we discovered the one in Metairie that's like by itself. I want to say it's on Veterans. I'm not exactly sure. Don't quote me on that. You can Google it. But, and that one to me, it always tastes really good, but it really doesn't have. And I mean, I think there's like an element of like being in the French Quarter and like having that whole kind of experience that I think probably adds to that. Like if you go to another one of the locations, it's not necessarily the same thing because you can just kind of walk up and do whatever you got to do.
Right.
And then there's like one in like the mall somewhere too, like one of the malls.
Mall of Louisiana used to have one a very long time ago in Baton Rouge.
But I want to say it's...
But one of the ones in Metairie does.
Yeah. It's like
and then one of the little
Metairie.
Shopping malls in New Orleans, like right next to in the warehouse district.
So, I mean, I think you're right. I think there's an element of like being there. I mean, and then on top of that, it's probably, there's probably an element of like whoever's, manning the grease and manning the station. And then there's probably other elements of like, how fast the line is moving and how many they're dropping at one time. And I'm sure they probably try to be as consistent as possible, but that location is insanely busy at any given time.
Unless you go in the middle of the night.
Exactly. So it's like those kinds of elements I think probably play into that a little bit more.
So I had posted on the Lafayette Food Junkie Facebook page, should Lafayette have a Cafe du Monde and would it taste the same as the original location? And so many people thought that we should have a Cafe du Monde.
Because we should.
I disagree because I like to go places when I travel, and it's not the same if it's in the town that you're located in. And I don't like that all these businesses from other locations are coming into town because it's not the same. Like when I travel, when I go to Birmingham, I go to Post Office Pies, because they have that's there. If we had a Post Office Pies in town, it wouldn't be the same to me. It wouldn't taste the same to me. So that's why I feel like Lafayette shouldn't have one. I am outvoted on that. So many people thought that we should.
I mean, I can understand your argument. Like, I get it. Because, I mean, I've given you examples of, like, places that I'm like that with. Like, I mean, whenever I go to visit my brother in Dallas, like, him and his girlfriend, they always very specifically take me to In-N-Out because I don't have access to one down here.
Right.
But it's one of those things of, like, as special as I understand your, that special element that you're talking about, and I totally get that. At the same time, a frozen Olay accessible to me at any given time would be a beautiful thing. Okay. Like, I would go there all the time. And then, of course, like beignets, like to me, I'm like, my friends and I, after dinner on Friday nights, a lot of times we want something, that would be our spot. Like, we would totally patronize that place every Friday night if we could, because they're just so good.
There was a few followers that said, no, we have places locally that make beignets, get them there. But I feel like they're flat and they're not that puffy, hot deliciousness that they are.
They just don't taste the same
at Cafe du Monde.
Yeah.
Also, last time I was in New Orleans, I had chocolate beignets for the first time, and that was a life changer. Not at Cafe du Monde, it was at another beignet place. But they're flat. I mean, they're not puffy. I think
they rescheduled. They were supposed to have a beignet festival this past weekend, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I think so, and I think they rescheduled. I'm gonna have to look.
I feel like that would be a very boring schedule. Like Cafe du Monde just needs to be there, and like.
Well, I mean, I think they probably do the stuffed beignets like crawfish.
Yeah, they probably do like different.
Like that.
They could probably do some cool versions with that.
Yeah,
but
I would patronize that if I could.
All right.
I'd like to judge.
Be a judge of the beignets. All right, we are going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking World Championship Gumbo Cook-Off. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
And now we talk about food. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku, and we've been talking with Terry Dugas, who is with the Greater Iberia Chamber of Commerce, and we're going to talk about the World Championship Gumbo Cook-Off that is happening this coming weekend.
Yeah, this coming weekend.
It's like, I feel like I was just judging it last year, and now it's coming
crazy.
around.
I mean, I can't believe that it's been a year already, but here we are, so let's make it happen.
So what's new this year?
Okay, so really nothing is new, per se.
Okay.
It's just that we have kind of exploded. I don't know what's different.
Y'all have had a lot of people sign up to compete?
We have over 70 teams.
Okay.
So we're about the same size that we were last year, which some people have said, it's smaller because some years they've had over 90. But the 70 this year was 77, I think to be exact, was deliberate. Because by keeping it kind of in the parking lot across from our office building, and by keeping it kind of in that section, we can manage things a lot better. The flow is just a lot better. Things just work out a lot better. And then, in terms of how many gumbos we have 90 gumbos.
Wow.
So we've got like 77 teams, but 90 gumbos. We have multiple teams doing 2 and 3 gumbos each, and they are coming with their A games. We've got some professional categories. This year, we're going to have a professional judging panel.
Oh, wow.
So we've got someone from Dark Root coming. We've got somebody from Social coming. We've got all these like great people coming from all around. I'm sending out a press release about that this week. And, it's so great. We've got our sponsors this year are mainly kind of in the media realm. So Louisiana Life, Fox 15, all of these kind of great sponsors have been giving us all kinds of promo. So we're at, I want to say it's over $60,000 worth of promo for the event, which is just so great. And we've got people that have been reaching out, you included, giving us this platform to talk about it. So it's just, I'm so excited about everything happening with it. It's going to be great.
So the actual competition happens the Sunday,
Yes.
and then the Saturday, they kind of cook other things that are not gumbo.
So just for people who don't really know, or you've never been, or you want to check it out, I mean, I know Festival Acadian is this weekend too. You can check out both because it's all weekend, and you will not be at Festival here in Lafayette all weekend. At least I don't think you will. So what happens is Saturday morning, we have a 5K called the Roo Run that starts off at 8 a.m. It is facilitated by Iberia on Tap, which is the young adult young adult professionals group. They are going to be doing it in conjunction with the Firestarter program, which is a program that I'm a part of. Quick shout out to everybody with that. It's a leadership program for high school juniors into their senior year. They're about to wrap up in December. That's super exciting. So we start off with that, and then we have the Cajun, God bless you, the Cajun Creole Food Festival. So they're going to have all kinds of things. There's going to be like, Boudin egg rolls, and we have people doing jambalaya.
There was a Philly cheesesteak egg roll that I had last year. Yeah.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
So
lots of jambalaya.
Just all kinds of different things. I mean, kind of like your standard festival fare. So if there are things that you really enjoy, during kind of like festivals around here, you can probably get it there. I mean, almost all the teams are participating in that. And then that night we have music going until about 11 o'clock. So in the evening, we're going to have the Boy Scouts. They're going to be out there doing hamburgers and hot dogs to kind of serve. And we're going to have the beer booths open and the drink booths open going into the night. We've got a great lineup of bands. You can check out facebook.com/World Championship Gumbo Cook-Off. And we've got a full list of bands. I'm going to keep it updated with the bands and their times as they're going on. I kind of have it set to warn people about 30 minutes before. So if you just keep posting on the Facebook, you'll find out when your favorite band is playing. And then on Sunday, bright and early at 6 a.m., we have the cannon go off, and then the teams start cooking, and they start serving at 10 or 11. I'm blanking right now. But so you can come around 10:30. That'll probably be the sweet spot. And there's going to be all kinds of gumbos to try out. We have a team coming from New York City. They think that they are going to take the crown, so it's going to be real interesting.
So it's free to get in.
Yes.
And there's going to be shuttles, too.
Yes, there's a shuttle from Mussinpatu, which is off of Highway 14. You can park out there. The shuttle will take you right up to the cook-off. They are air-conditioned buses. Last year, it was our first year, so we didn't really have that many people using it. So if you're listening to this is kind of an insider secret still. So if you're worried about parking, you can just park out there, get on an air-conditioned bus. It'll take you right up. You hop off. And the full schedule of that is on the Facebook as well. And we'll have it posted out there for you to view. And we'll have a couple signs up around where it drops off too for you guys to take a look at the times. But it does both days, all day. So,
and it's free to get in. You have to purchase tickets to sample the things. Mm-hmm. Do you know how much average each little booth? It's like 3 to 5 tickets. I feel like
5 tickets for each ticket is $1, and it's 5 tickets for seafood and 4 tickets for anything else.
Okay,
so it's roughly like you can get a 10-ounce bowl of gumbo or a cup of gumbo for about $5.
Okay,
which is super cheap in my mind, because if you go to a local restaurant, you'll probably be paying almost $10. And then there's so many to try. So if you bring a $20 bill, you will be more than set up.
So last time you came on the show, we were talking about when is it time to make gumbo. Have you made your first gumbo yet?
I have not. It's still too warm.
It is hot.
It's still too. Today was like 100 degrees out.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been having cooler days. And next weekend, I'm definitely going to try gumbo, but I also have the luxury of being inside the office.
Right.
So I can like go and grab, if I have time, I'm talking like I'm going to have time to do this. But in my head, I can go and grab gumbo and then go into our office and like hide somewhere and eat. But 9 times out of 10, I'm just going to have to like send someone to go get some gumbo for me and then put it away until Monday when I'm able to actually sit down. But I'm still going to eat. It doesn't matter.
What's your favorite kind of gumbo?
Growing up, we kind of mixed gumbo. So like, and I think down here, that's kind of like a standard thing. Like a lot of people do that. So we would have chicken, sausage, and shrimp, or we would have like a sausage, shrimp, and crab. So those are kind of like the realm that I'm in. When I'm making it myself, like last year, my friends and I made one and we did chicken, sausage, and shrimp. And that was really, really good. So, and then also someone last year at the cook-off made one with tasso.
Oh, that's how I make mine at home.
And I don't know if that was like, if they like, where they got that tasso from, but it was so good. Like, it was like amazing. I'm blanking on who it was right now, and I don't want to like play favorites. But if you like, I think this year I'm gonna try to put some tasso in mine.
Yeah, when I make chicken and sausage, I always put tasso as well. And then I think when I made a shrimp and okra last year for the first time, and it turned out really well. Like I was super proud at how it turned out. I think I'll put tasso in it too. So that was like the only meat in it. But I like chicken and sausage, or like wild game. You know, I got to judge the melange category last year. I was so excited, and then I took my 3 favorites home with me and combined them into one bowl of gumbo the next day for lunch. So it was delicious.
Yeah, this week we had Gerald Grunning from KLFY. He came to the plaza and he talked with Miss Janet, Miss Kelly, and Mr. Curtis Louvier, who's been with the Gumbo Cook-Off for years and is a big supporter of the event. And he does kind of all of our press for us. and Mr. Curtis made this was so super interesting because I'd never seen this before, but he made a sausage. It was a pork sausage, I want to say, but it had, it was wrapped in smoked chicken skin.
Oh.
And it was great. I was describing it to my mom because I was like, I've never seen this before. I've never had this before, but it was fantastic. So he had that in the gumbo. He had chicken, and then he had okra. He did okra in it. And he was telling us about how, a lot of the teams don't do okra because okra can go either way. I mean, if you don't do it right, it can get slimy and everything else like that, which we've all probably had an experience with. But it was really, really good. Like, I was just amazed at, this sausage chicken hybrid thing that he had created. But I was like, you should sell this.
Right. Put it on the market.
No, yeah, it was so good. But yeah, I mean, it's just been a whirlwind, and I'm super excited, for next weekend to come and for us to finally,
Maybe it'll be cold.
Yeah, maybe.
What's the temperature supposed to be like? Do we know that?
Like, from what I understand, it's supposed to still be warm. They keep saying that it's getting cooler as time goes on. So I'm hoping. Last year was great. Last year it was warm, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
I don't recall.
I remember
like,
wearing a sweater dress, and I was fine.
It was very like temperate and everything else like that. Oh, also, side note. If the LSU game is televised, we will have it. We will have TVs outside everywhere. So I know a lot of people on Saturday are kind of worried about LSU and being able to watch the game. So there will be TVs out there for those who are interested. If it's being televised, we're trying to figure that out right now.
Okay. Well, good to know. I'm looking forward to next weekend.
Yes.
So we were talking. We have like 2.5 minutes left.
Okay.
We were talking because you and I are going to go check out Dat Dog after the show. But you made the comment to me that you do not eat hot dogs.
I do not.
Why do you not eat hot dogs?
Because I'm a picky eater, and the idea.
But hot dogs are good.
Hot dogs are everything that God did not intend man to eat on a pig.
This is lies.
Put into
everything you hit on a pig is edible.
And I mean, like, it's enough. Like, I can't do it. I don't. That's one of the things, like, even being from Louisiana, like, and the idea of some of the things that I put in my mouth from being down here, but like hot dogs, I can't do it. I can't. Like those bar S hot dogs,
okay,
the, like,
no,
red dye one, like no,
that's not good hot dogs.
I know.
We had a show around the 4th of July because Bon Appetit did a thing where they voted on like the best hot dogs, and it was like adults voted on which ones they liked, and like the kids voted on the ones that they liked. So the kids liked Oscar Mayer, and like the winner for the adults was Boar's Head, which I've never seen, and I've been trying to find them at the store. And then Hebrew National was like next.
I've heard that Hebrew National has like a kosher beef.
Yeah, they do.
Dog. I still can't.
And they're very delicious. I'm just letting you know.
Maybe I might revisit it in my older age.
But lucky for you that Dat Dog has hamburgers and chicken. They even have fish. They have vegan hot dogs. So
try out one of these
you'll have like a whole other, lots of other things that you can check out. So you won't just like hot dogs. I cannot believe. So like, did you not eat hot dogs growing up?
Growing up, there were times where I tried. And it
just
did
not
end well. It did not end well. I'll just leave it at that.
What about corn dogs?
Corn dogs,
no. Pig in a blanket?
No, hard no.
Okay.
Hard no on that. Those little weenies, I can't do those.
Cocktail, little cocktail sausages?
Vienna sausages?
Oh, yeah, no.
No,
I can't eat those.
Not.
And I used to eat those so much. Like, I used to go fishing with my dad. And part of the reason why I liked fishing with my dad was because I could eat Vienna sausages. And now the thought of it is disgusting to me.
They've been nasty.
But they were delicious when I was a kid, and I loved them.
You lied to yourself. I don't know. Somebody didn't love you enough to tell you no.
And potted meat. I can't eat potted meat. No.
Why? Why would you eat potted meat? I learned a little while ago that you can buy a whole chicken in a can. And I was like, why, God?
Yes.
Why is this a thing that can happen?
You can.
Who does this?
Terry, it's always a pleasure to have you on as a guest co-host. All right, that's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Join us next week, Sunday at 6 p.m. This is Tiffany Deku on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, and this is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy eating, Acadiana.